Hello, my friends, my Mahjong friends. This is Retarded Crabman with another video of Mahjong analysis, game log analysis. Game log analysis, very important, as you know. I always talk about it, but even more important, proper log analysis with a teacher, with a stronger player, with a friend, not alone, never alone, because it is easy to get lost. So I'm gonna be analyzing a league game, Hanuman Hanta's Tompu league game. This is M-League rules. First place, very high points. Last place, less severe of a loss, so a lot of pushing is involved. And I'm going to be analyzing a log of a beginner player, so I will make sure to only focus on the key points, on the fundamentals, and pointing out the biggest mistakes, the ones that need to be corrected in the first place. So those that have the highest priority. Okay, and as always, I have not seen this log before. I think of it as if I was playing myself, so I will give you my discard ideas and point out why I think a certain option is better or worse. And maybe in some places I will find an opportunity to talk a bit about strategy, like general strategy, statistics based strategy for general purposes, just like in Richie book, perfect for beginners up to upper beginners, 4th dan, 5th dan, upper beginner players. Let's go. So first important, we look at the hand and we estimate, what do you call it, size it up. We look at the hand and check how many blocks we have. We don't have to count shanten necessarily, we just have to be aware how many blocks we have, how many more we need, and how many good shapes and bad shapes we have. Also checking the Dora, always very important. Stuff like checking your wind and point situation, it goes without saying, so but I still repeat it every time. Very important, because people forget, beginners or even upper beginners and some intermediate players, for example Retarded Crabman, hello very much, sometimes forget to look at the Dora indicator. This is a grave mistake. Okay, let's go. So with this hand, what should we see? Well, I think the best situation is in Sozu. We can get up to 3 blocks here, so we definitely have this pair. And the rest of the shape, we can look at it differently. We can look at it as Kanchan, this 5-so Kanchan plus Penchan pair 7-8, or maybe Ryankan plus Penchan. That also kind of works here. So like I said, we can have up to 3 blocks, it doesn't matter. Pinzu, very important, of course, floating tile, that's easy to spot, but what is easy to miss, especially when you're a beginner, is this one pin, a floating tile next to a set. That's what every beginner strategy book says. Floating tile next to a set is stronger than the same kind of tile which is lone. So in this case, if you draw 2 pin, you get 3-6 Ryanman. It gets free. So it's important to look for such combinations, because they might play an important role in on your way to Tempai. And 6-man, the best floating tile here, Now, some questions to ask yourself, especially if you have Yakuhai, floating Yakuhai. Whenever you are under 5 blocks, you have to think, well, is this hand worth opening to begin with? Will I need Yakuhai? Is it openable? And it's very difficult to say that a hand is openable when it's under 5 blocks, because it's easy. It's most often it's above 3 shanten, so it's very hard to say. So usually it's a no. It's a big no. And sometimes it's kind of, well, let's see what happens. Let's see what draws we get in the first, let's say 3-4 turns, up to 6 turns, maybe the first row of these cards, and see what happens. But if you have let's say 4 blocks, you lone Yakuhai and floating terminal tiles, you have to ask yourself, is this hand openable? Would I like to open it? Would I be able to open it? Is it worth to open it? Like I said, if you have a bad shape, more than 1 weak block and no Dora, it's a huge no. Committing to a slow, cheap hand, that's the worst type of hand. So generally you need to have at least 2 Dora to think about opening and a decent shape. This hand, we don't have Yakuhai, no problem. So we just discard pay. That would be my first idea. And sometimes during my analysis, I come across stuff that I'm not sure about myself. So I always point it out that I'm not sure. I always ask for help in the comments, but nobody ever answers. So I guess, well, that's how it goes. That's life. 1 man. Do we need this 1 man? Like I said, we have enough material in Sozu. We might have 2 up to 3 blocks in Pinzu. Definitely 1 block in Manzu. Easy to create. We don't need 1 man. Very good. So far, so good. Okay. And now, the shape in Sozu, like I said, it turns out to be Penchan plus Ryankan. So we are still waiting on the 5 and 7 So Sozu, good situation. Sozu is good situation. Now we compare the floating tiles. 8 pin gives Ryanman with a 7 pin, but 1 pin gives Ryanman with 2 pin, and it gives a complete set. So it's kind of a toss-up between, of course, 6 man is different category because it's a middle tile. So it gives Ryanman with 2 tiles, 5 man, 7 man. And it accepts Akadora, but that's kind of a side effect, let's say. So it's a toss-up between 1 pin, 8 pin. I would choose 8 pin and hope to draw 2 pin. Just like I would hope to draw 7 pin if I kept 8 pin. Yeah, so okay. I would say that was not the optimal play, but like I said, it's a toss-up. So you have to know how to compare the tiles. So you have to be aware what you are losing with a discard. After a discard, what you can gain and what you can lose. So like I said, 1 pin loses the 2 pin, but keeping 8 pin keeps the 7 pin okay there. But like I said, drawing 2 pin, you get a set plus Ryanman. If you discard 1 pin and get a 7 pin, you still have a set plus Ryanman. Okay. So we can see potential Honitsu, Chinitsu on the right. Or yes, I think so. With some dragons maybe. Yes, more Sozu. So now we have 2, 4, 6, 8. This triple Kanchan. So now again we're looking for the weakest link. 8 pin definitely is the weakest link now. It doesn't get called by Shimocha, that's good. Okay. So now we have this Penkanchan situation, and if you're counting Shanten, if you know how to count Shanten and you do it automatically, and it's in your, it's just part of your playing routine, then you will quickly notice that you are Ishanten already. So I think for now, even though we don't have Dora, we don't have a Yaku, the only Yaku, the savior, the Jesus of our hand would be Ipeko. But still, I think keeping maximum Ukeire in Sozu is good. So if you discard 2 So, or if you discard, you can discard 2 So to keep 6 man and grow a Ryanman here. But you lose direct Ukeire of 3 So. So like I said, comparison. So you lose direct Ukeire of 3 So for Tenpai. And you keep indirect Ukeire. So difference, mind the difference. Indirect Ukeire completes a set directly, gives you Tenpai. And then 6 So Richi, and you have Ipeko. And keeping 6 man is indirect Ukeire. Indirect, that means it doesn't straight give you a set or a pair, it just strengthens your shape. So 5 man, 7 man, strengthen the hand. But I would keep this Ishanten. Simple. So 6 man here. Very good. Okay. So now we see the upper player, the north player, called twice. And it's the 7th turn. So I would assume they're either even if they're beginner, we should assume that they know what they're doing. So they should be Ishanten at least, or even Tenpai. And that's, by the way, speaking of, that's kind of weird, don't you think? 5, 6, 7. And now we discard 8. I don't know. Are we going for whatever? I don't know. Sanshoku? I don't know. That's kind of strange. Okay, so but we have to be aware of this player. The player on the right has called once. They're most likely going for Chinitsu, Honitsu, so dragons will be dangerous because none of them have been discarded yet. And our hand, we have to look at the hand and really examine it. So the shape, Shanten is low, Shanten is Ishanten, 1 Shanten, very close to Tenpai, but we might miss Ipeko, right? If we draw 9 So, we miss Ipeko. If we draw 1 So, we have this Shampon here, 1 So, 9 So, we miss Ipeko. So yeah, this hand is bad shape, low value, the worst kind of hand. So you have to be aware of the types of hands. So we have fast expensive, fast cheap, slow expensive, and slow cheap. A slow cheap is the worst type. You never want to commit to them, you don't want to over push them, and this is pretty common among beginners. And it's understandable when you have no fundamentals yet. You just want to win every single hand. Okay, that's interesting. Another 3 So. So now, if they weren't Tenpai before, I would say now they're most likely Tenpai. Okay, see, and we draw Haku. So I know it's M League rules. And I would say that getting a Ron on this Haku is quite unlikely at this point, I would say. Of course, sometimes you will get a Ron, no doubt about it, this is Mahjong. But I would say it's pretty unlikely that you'll get Ron. But you may want to prevent other players from getting the haku, especially the right players. So at this point, I think it's okay to just give up this hand. Give up. Toymen, if they're Tempai, they're definitely faster than us. It's likely that they have a Rianmen weight better than us, and they might have Tanyao, Dora Dora. We were playing with AK5 tiles, so red 5, so it's easy to make 3.9 hand, 3 fun, Tanyao, Dora Dora. So yeah, I would really think twice about discarding this Haku for the reasons I mentioned. So I would probably give up on this hand right now.
Pom.
Because yeah, if the player on the right calls it, it's not a big problem. Well, we might still draw for Ipeko and play Dama, for example, or even Ricci if we're feeling bold. But I don't know. They have at least 3.9 or even 7.7. Who knows? Yeah. Oh, Toy. Yeah, that's what I missed. Toy.
Sumo.
Wow, that's a super hand. Again, let's go. Another hand. Set. Rianmen. Ukipai. Okay, we clean up. This is opening. Standard opening procedure. Clean up. Oh, building towards Itsu. We got the Dora. That's nice. Oh, I'm sorry. The melts are out of picture. Out of the frame. Okay. Now, does this one pin help? Of course. It might be a pair later. Yeah, I think it's okay for beginners. It's okay. Obviously, if we are paying attention to the board, so if you want to look at the board when you're a beginner, there is very limited amount of information that you should look for, because you're unable to process. You'll be unable to process anything else, because you have to look at your hand, you have to count shanten, you have to think about your shape, about your value. There are so many micro decisions that you have to be making on the spot, and as you go in between your turns, the time in between your turns is very important. Always remember that. In our league we play with 30 seconds time limit, so that's way over the tenho limit. It's much more comfortable. We could go down to, I don't know, 15 seconds, or even the standard 10 would be 5 plus 10 is kind of okay. But I wanted to make sure that my players are comfortable. We have some beginners in our club, so I wanted to make it more comfortable for them. Yeah, so either is fine. We can use the stone only for safety, but do we have enough material to let go of this 9-man? That's the question. Aren't we losing too much? I would say we aren't losing too much. We have 2-man, we have 7, so Pinzu might develop nicely if we draw 9-pin, 8-pin. That's pretty sweet stuff. 1 for 7 here, 1 for 7, 1 for 7, wait. That's great. That's awesome. So we don't need that 9-man. Yes, I would say it's a good move. It's a good move. Yes.
Reach.
Okay, now reach, and all we need to do really is to look at our hand. First comes Shanten. We have to know how far from Tempai we are, because that's the most important factor. And then we look at the hand value and hand shape. But if the Shanten is too high and we have a way to defend, we should usually defend. That's always bear that in mind, remember that. And here, our Shanten is still quite high. I think, just looking at it, I think it's 2 Shanten, right? If we count Pinzu as 3 blocks, yes, that's 2 Shanten. We draw here, and we draw Manzu or Sozu. Yeah, but what do we have to discard? 8 pin. We might end up discarding it, or 7, so dangerous tiles. Do we have defense? So yeah, 2 away from ready, that's already too much. 2 away from ready, too much. So I would play it safe. Simply 5 pin. It doesn't matter that we are Oya. Sometimes people mention, oh, I want to be aggressive because I'm Oya, but standard push-pull rules apply even when you're Oya. That's the thing. Okay, now it's the end of the line as far as defense goes. So we should discard the well, we have Suji, right? Do you see Suji? We have Suji, 2 pin Suji. We are still 2 away from ready, but now we have the pair here. This is a Kanchan. This is our chances of getting to Tenpai aren't very high. We have 2 bad shapes. So whenever you have more than 1 bad shape, your hand cannot be considered like fast, like super fast, that you can be confident about being the fastest at the table. So more than 1 weak block. But it also depends on the value of your hand. So if you have slow but expensive hand, you know, it's sometimes worth pushing a little bit more, but not against Richie maybe. So yeah, I'm not quite sure, but I kind of see, I kind of think that we just have to keep defending. So 2 pin Suji. Now 1 pin obviously can deal into Ryanmen, so you have to be aware of that. 1 4 pin Ryanmen, risky. Yeah, now we have 6-man Suji, so we have to quickly connect the dots. So we look at the potential discard. So we have to discard Triso or Manzu, basically. These are the best options. We cannot discard 8 pin because it's Dora, and well, we can repeat the 1 pin for now, right? We can repeat the 1 pin for now. Okay, Toyman is pushing. Very interesting. Hatsu has been called. Hatsu is okay. Now 2 pin. How to estimate the 2 pin safety? The safety of 2 pin. Well, so first thing we look for Suji. If 2 pin is not Genbutsu, we look for Suji. So Suji, 2 pin is Suji. So it's Suji. It doesn't deal into 2-5 weight. 2-5 weight out of question. But next we check Kanchan weight and Shampoo weight. We don't care about Tanki unless it's Dora. That's what I recommend. So mostly we're concerned with Kanchan, and so we have to count the neighbors of 2 pin. Simple as that. We have to count the neighbors of 2 pin because these are the tiles that make the weight. So we can see that 1 pin has been discarded 3 times and twice by us. So 1 pin is 1 chance. So the risk of the 2 pin Kanchan is not very high, but it exists. And there's also 2 pin Shampoo. And we are still 2 away from ready. 2 Shanten. And we have to discard Triso or Triso or 2-man 6-man. 6-man, as we see, we connect the dots, is okay-ish because it's a Suji. Again, so it only deals into Kanchan, 6-man Kanchan or Shampoo. But yeah, 2 away from ready. We are over 10th turn, so it's getting late. it's getting late, I would recommend defending. But even if we defend, I think 2-pin is actually the best option. What else do we have? 2-so suji, 3-so suji. But if we compare 3-so, 3 and 7 is usually the worst because it deals not only to kanchan but also to penchan. So 1-2-so or 8-9 pin, things like that, penchan weights. So 3s are usually the most dangerous out of suji like that. So we compare 2-so, we can compare 2-pin. So 2-so, how likely it is for the opponent to have 2-so kanchan? So they have to have 1 3-so. So we can see 2 pieces of 3-so. We can see 3 pieces of 1-pin. So that's why I would say 2-pin is safer than 2-so. And that applies to 6-man as well. Kanchan. 6-man kanchan, so the opponent has to have 5 and 7-man to have this kanchan. We only see 1 5-man, so that's much more likely than the ones I talked about before. So I would suggest discarding 2-pin. Oh, I missed. I'm sorry, I missed 4-man. Oh, stupid me. Yeah, 4-man Genbutsu. Good. The player was smarter than me. Thank you very much. Obviously, I was talking too much about Suji. There was a Genbutsu here. Yes, but do we have anything else? Now we have 1-pin passed and 7-pin passed, so we have 4-pin Suji. So again, we know it's Suji, so we check the kanchan. So we look for 3 and 5, and we can only see 1 3 and 2 5s. So that's still riskier than, for example, 2-pin. Yes. 3-so. Yes, again, you may want to avoid discarding Suji 3 or Suji 7 for the reason I mentioned. They not only deal into kanchan, but also to penchan and shampon. So 1 possible weight more. So if you compare Suji 2, Suji 8, better than Suji 3, Suji 7. Usually. On average, as the French would say. On average. Now we just keep going with Genbu. Yes, like I said, I won't go into more detailed stuff. Just let's keep going with safe tiles. Yeah, so I think we still have this 2-pin, right? Now we have 3-so 1 chance. So 2-so is equally safe, I would say. And 1-pin is Genbutsu, yes. The player is much better than me at spotting Genbutsu, but when I'm it's like that when I'm not playing. I sometimes lose track of Genbu more than when I'm actually playing. 6-so Suji 5-7, again it's 1 chance, and we have 3 5-so and 2 7-so. That's kind of okay. I would still prefer 2-pin, I guess. Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. Okay, good defense. Good defense, Mrs. Player.
Pom.
I can't say what gender they are because it's dangerous in these times, crazy times. Pawn, instant pawn. I didn't even have the chance to discuss that move. Yes, of course. Why do we do that? Why? Well, it's okay. We have 5 blocks. Yes, we cannot I'm not sure if we should pawn Nan. Then we have Kanchan, Ryanmen, Ishanten. Maybe it's okay. Maybe it's okay. Once. Why? Why? Honitsu, you say? Honitsu. Yes, I think I agree. Yes, I agree. Honitsu is 3.9. Yakuhai Nomi, naked Yakuhai, is only 1000. Good. Honitsu. Never miss Honitsu. And by the way, maybe not. Okay, whatever. Forget it. Now I'm not sure if I like this call. Because think about it. So I had to take a sip of my magic juice. Raspberry juice. I recommend it to everyone who talks a lot. Raspberry juice, very good. Mixed with water, very good. Because think about it, you get Ishanten, you get one Shanten after the call. So you are closer to Tenpai, but are you faster? You only have, look, you only have 3 so, 5 so. Well, you can pawn Nan. If you are familiar with one Shanten shapes, you can pawn Nan for pairless one Shanten. But I'm not sure about this. Now, the way it is now, it's 3 so, 5/8 so. So well, you kind of only lose 8 so for the time being, but when it comes to your potential Tenpai, waiting on 5/8 so would be much better. So yeah, I don't think I can decide what's better. I would just recommend to think about it again and compare the options. I would say it's a decent call. But now, Genbu. Now, what do we do now? We have to fold because we are not Tenpai. Because we don't want to deal into Oya. There's a friggin' Dorapon here. Let them fight. Let Kamicha die. No. Defense. We cannot push 4-pin. Just think about how dangerous 4-pin is. There are 2 weights. There's one 4-pin and 4 7-pin. Both are possible. Very dangerous. No push. Defense.
No.
Wow. That's a nice comeback. Okay. Again, let's look at the hand. Let's dissect the hand. So we have, that's actually pretty good. We have one complete set, 3 Ryanmen, 3 Ukipai. They're not super Ukipai, 8-man, 2-pin, but 5 so. It can connect if you draw a 4 so. But it looks like a potential pinfu hand, definitely. Maybe with Sanshoku if we're lucky. Well, it's quite unlikely that we're gonna get Sanshoku here because we have too many blocks. So standard opening, clean up. We are in last place. We need 6,000 points. So we need to score 420. So Richitsumo Pinfudora, something like this. or even manganen, then we might take first. There's no south round, so the game ends here no matter what, even if you're under 30,000. That's how the rules are. So that's even better for us, because we can win a mangan here and just end the game. Just like that. Okay, this is interesting. This is interesting. No, not yet. Not yet. Just 5, so yes. Good. Good. Okay, now this is interesting. This is what I meant earlier. This kind of scenario. So it's a quite common decision to make. Which Ryanman to fix as the pair. So generally, going by theory, we make the pair. We keep the Ryanman that we want to have as the final weight. So we compare 2 5-man Ryanman and 1 4-so Ryanman. 1 4-so is statistically better because it weighs on the 1-so. So it's more closer to the edge, more close to the outside. So we normally discard 4-man and get on with the hand, because we want this this Ryanman to be our final weight. But there's also an argument with Akadora, maybe. So I'd say in this case, well, maybe either is fine, at least judging from my kind of average intermediate perspective. That's how I would say. That's what I'd say. So yeah, let's not think too much about it. Each. So we have to push. We have to push. No choice. If we're lucky, we'll get Sanshoku, Rich Pinfu Sanshoku, so we can still win this game. That's interesting. So going from first to last. That's bad luck. Bad luck. Okay, so all things considered, I think you, Mr. or Mrs. Player, you played good. Good game. Make sure to think about the mistakes I pointed out and not to make them again. And keep working, keep playing, keep having fun. And for anyone watching, please, if I miss a mistake, or maybe if I was spreading any bullshit in the video, please let me know. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.